Okay, good morning everybody, and welcome to the first tutorial that we're going to have on Rhinoceros. Even though you have taken Rhinoceros in other courses, we are going to modify a little bit this course so you can start designing for 3D printing and designing for engineering. The difference is that basically you need to take into account measurements and take into account different things so it can be really precise. Okay, so we're going to start our models with the format of large objects millimeters. This is going to allow us to be very precise with our designs, and we can actually print them in different situations. So we're going to start with large objects, millimeters, and we're going to have the 4 viewports. Really quick. We have the top, front, right view. We're going to go really quick through the basic use of the mouse and the cursor and the zoom in options. This is going to be tutorial number 1. So, very quickly, top view you can maximize and minimize. You double click on any of the viewports. You can change how the viewport is going to look by right clicking. You can right click and you can drag each viewport, okay? And if you use right click on the perspective view, you can rotate it, okay? If you wish to drag the perspective view, you can click on the shift button on your keyboard and drag it in different places. Very good. Now you can scroll and you will zoom in and zoom out on each of the viewports, so that is very simple to use. Or if you're not using a mouse and you're using your touch pad from your laptop, you can click on the magnifying glass that you see on the top panel, and you can click, okay, left click and up and down, and you can zoom in or out, okay? So this also has a shortcut, so you can see zoom dynamic, and that would be control RVM. Very good. Okay, so that is about our perspective view. Okay, another thing important for the viewports is that you will have some options. These options are views. Okay, here you have some basic views like wireframe, shaded, rendered, ghosted, X-ray. What is the difference between each view is that you can see the objects in different ways. So I'm going to just make a simple sphere right here in the middle. Okay? And as you can see, all the viewports have the objects in wireframe. If I click on the perspective view, or I right click on the perspective view and select ghosted, I can see a shaded version of my object. If I select artistic, you will have kind of like what it looks artistically, and X-ray, or if you want to see it rendered, here you can see it like the object, how it looks like. Okay, very good. So this is tutorial number 1, and in tutorial number 1 you will need to go through the different tutorials in order to comply with a final design or a final project. Okay, so just checking out the viewports. Okay, this is going to be very simple. Another important feature for Rhinoceros is the ability to have all the objects in different layers. These objects will allow us to identify, hide, or show different objects depending on their layers. Okay, so let's say we have a sphere, and this sphere is part of a set of spheres. Okay, so all the spheres in my design are going to be for a certain layer, okay, or they're going to be part of an object. So I'm just going to copy and paste, Control C, Control V, and I'm going to drag it to the side. I'm going to make another one, Control C, Control V, and I'm going to have 3 objects, okay, and these objects are 3 different spheres, okay, or 3 different materials. Let's say this is a marble, and this is going to be made out of wood, and this is going to be made out of metal. In that case, I would like to know, and I would like to see that they are in different layers. So I'm going to click on the top panel where it says Edit Layers, and you should have a panel that displays the layers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of my objects. I'm going to right click on the layer, and I'm going to say Change Object Layer. Okay, how do you see that the object is actually on that layer? You're going to right click on Perspective, and you're going to select Ghosted. When you see the ghosted, you can see each object on a different layer. Okay, on a different layer. So here I'm going to select my second object, and it's going to be part of a second layer. So I'm going to say Change Object Layer, and for my third object, I'm going to select Change Object Layer. So I have 3 different layers. So it's going to be very simple for me to hide or show different objects from the different layers. So on layer 1, I am going to change the name, and I'm going to say this is going to be marble. And layer 2 is going to be wood, everything that is made out of wood on my second layer. And of course, it's going to be metal, whatever is on my third layer. So let's say I want to hide everything that is marble from my design, so I can hide it. It's going to be there. It's not that I deleted the object. I just hid it for a second while I'm trying to work on something else. This is very handy when you want to hide some objects while you're doing something else. Or I want to hide these two, and I just want to work on the metal, and so on and so forth. So this is a way to hide everything, okay? Or you can show all the different objects. So it's very important that all your objects, or the combination of your objects, have different layers depending on the material that or the functionality. Okay, the functionality also. Okay, so for your first activity using these simple tools, using the layers and using the viewports, what we're going to do is that you're going to create different types of objects. This should be very, very simple for you. It's just for you to review. And these objects can be, these solids can be located right here on the left panel. Okay, this toolbar. You can see you have cubes, you have cylinders, you have spheres, you have a sphere diameter. The idea is that you have 15 different types. Okay, but in order to do this, since we're working with engineering, you are going to take into account that, first of all, the grid snap on the bottom part should be activated, so when you create your object, it actually sticks to one of these corners. Okay? And the planner. We are going to have another tutorial to work on OSNAP and ortho, so you can really understand what their functionality is. It's really, really important for our designs to use OSNAP. So for now, just use the grid map and the planner. And what you're going to do is that you're going to create 10 different objects, okay? 10 different objects. So I think it's enough. 10 different objects, and starting from the top view, okay? You're going to click on any of the corners, and you're going to make regular shapes, okay? Hopefully these regular shapes are, like, for example, a cube. Okay, this cube is going to be this size. Okay, it doesn't matter what size it is. Right now, it's it would be 10 by 10 by 10, 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters. Okay, so this is going to belong to this object, and then I'm going to double click on. I can change this later. So if I want to change the layer, I can make another one. The idea is that you guys create different types of solids, okay? I'm making just as an example. But you guys can create different types of solids. And the sphere, and this sphere is going to be size. Okay, and of course each one has to be on a different layer. Now you are going to add the names of the different layers of and the type of you can make up the different types of materials that you are going to use. Okay, so by the end, and what you need to hand in is just a file with all the different layers, with all the different solids, okay, really well organized on the same grid. Okay, hopefully you take into account the size, you make sure they are regular. Okay, for example, you can observe that on the viewport, this sphere is underneath the ground, like it's inside the ground. So it's very simple. So what I do, I just pull it out a little so you can see it better. Okay, and you have your sphere. Okay. Very well. So for now, you can do that. So good luck.